Welcome to your Monday Night Fulham Fix, the fortnightly show about all things Fulham for you guys, the fans. And joining me once again to my left, a man who has played in all 4 divisions for Fulham Football Club. The only man to do that, Mr. Sean Davis. How you doing, mate?
Good to be back.
It's good to have you back. You're looking well.
Yes, I'm trying, mate.
Loving
I'm
your
trying.
top with the classic badge as well.
Vintage, yeah, when it all began. Vandenel kit and all that. So happy.
It's looking good. And to my right, a man that will week in and week out travel the length and breadth of this country to bring us commentary from every game, every season. It's the one and only Mr. Gentleman Jim. Jim, how are you?
Yeah, very good, Ivan. Yeah, nice to be here, mate.
It's very good to have you here. I want to ask firstly, how was your weekend? Because obviously with a Friday night game, you actually get a whole weekend to yourself to actually see your family because you're week in, week out around the country.
It's quite nice in that respect to get the whole Saturday at home and it's always nice, obviously, if you win the game as well. It gives you a head start on everybody else. Mm-hmm. You wake up in the morning, look in the paper, you got 3 points more than you had the day before, and we've done quite well. I mean, I don't agree with it, I must admit. I think from a fan's point of view, to have to go down to Swansea and back on a Friday night, it's crazy, really. Yeah. I do think there needs to be a bit more thought about the televised championship games, because we've already been up to Huddersfield, we've been down to Cardiff, we've been down to Swansea. And it's a massively different proposition doing that on a Friday night.
Absolutely, and respect to everyone that did travel down to Swansea. And fantastic to get a win. We're going to get to that in just a bit. But yourself, I mean, like I say, week in, week out, you're travelling there. No matter if it's a Tuesday night or a Friday night, you're there.
Yeah. Did you not go and watch Brentford on the Saturday?
Strangely enough, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I had a bit of weeding to do in the back garden, but I'm glad I didn't actually. But no, it is nice, as you say, to get the weekend to yourself. But it's just, as I say, I think very difficult for people. You've either got to take a day off or at least a half day off. There's people maybe who couldn't get a train back, who might have had to stay down there and stuff like that. So it is difficult. But as I say, as long as you get the 3 points, it makes it an awful lot.
It does make it a very, very good weekend. Right, we're going to start with our big talking points, and this is where we look back over the last couple of weeks in the life of Fulham and discuss the big talking points. We've got 4 big talking points today. We're going to start off with number 1, 4 wins in a row. That's huge, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I've got the chance to speak to Scotty very briefly after the game down there, and that's exactly what I said to him. I think 4 wins on the bounce in a division as competitive as this is an achievement. Any stage of the season for any club. I mean, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll go on and increase that and win a lot more. But it's not easy, and we were all very disappointed after the whole game. That was a terrible result, and it was a poor performance, and everyone knew that. And Scotty stood there in front of the cameras, and he said, we'll bounce back from this. It's a bump in the road. What we've got to do now is make sure we go out up to Birmingham and get the result, which we did. And they won 3 in a week since that. So it's a terrific achievement, really. And 12 points. Yeah. From 4 games just makes a massive. Fantastic. All of a sudden, you're sitting 3rd in the table.
And we're now eyeing up 2nd and 1st place now.
Yeah.
Aren't we, really?
So it's a massive turnaround. It's exactly what we needed. We haven't lost 2 on the bounce so far this season. So it's good to see you get. Yeah, exactly.
Touch wood. Is this proper wood?
Yeah.
Got me paranoid. Yeah. Maybe the stalls.
Yeah, maybe I'm tempted, fate. But you should. You need a reaction when you lose a game, and so far so good. We've always turned it around. And as I say, to win 4 on the bounce was very impressive.
Yeah. Number 2, big talking point, is the Derby Day win. West London once again belonging to us. I'm going to hand over to you for this one because you've never ever lost to QPR in your entire career, which is huge. No, absolutely huge.
Refuse to.
It was an interesting game actually because first half we didn't look good. We didn't look good at all, and then second half we looked like we could destroy them.
I think most of this season, you hardly ever get the complete performance. Over the whole season, it's hard to get the complete performance, and obviously going back to the 4 wins in a row a little bit, but the way we've won and the circumstances and digging in and having lost at Hull, then obviously there's been a home truth said by the players, and they've responded to that. They haven't sulked, they haven't felt sorry for themselves, they've got on it, and the Derby win was probably the best game to come back and win.
Yeah.
So especially at home.
Without Mitrovic as well.
Yep. Obviously, he was always going to come straight back in because he's so prolific and he's vital to what we do and how we go about it. But especially, it was always better to win away in the derbies. A little bit more satisfying. But obviously, you're at home in front of your fans. The fans will have bragging rights from now till when we play them again. So it's good. It's a good feeling for the fans. But first and foremost, it was to get back winning and get the points on the board.
And that leads us into our talking point number 3, because Abubakar Kamara stepped in for Mitrovic. I think a lot of people were maybe a little bit surprised to see his name over Bobby Decordova-Reid starting. There was a mixed reaction on Twitter, but boy, he came really good, didn't he?
Yeah, he took his opportunity, Abu, and I was delighted for him, to be honest, because you say, I think he divides opinion. There's still a lot of people not convinced about Abu and his quality. I've actually always been a real fan. I think he will always get goals, and particularly at championship level. I think his power and his pace and his strength. At times, obviously, his finishing could be better, but then he's still a fairly young man, and he's still not playing on a regular basis. And strikers, well, all footballers, but strikers in particular, it's all about confidence. And obviously, if you're playing regularly, your first choice, you stick the ball in the net, and the fans love you. It's a much easier thing to do, But when you're a player who's in and out, you haven't quite convinced the fans. He's had his problems off the field as well, of course, Abu. But,
what a turnaround! You think?
Yeah, and you've got to be well
pleased.
pleased.
Last season, the argument over the penalty with Mitrovic to now, I mean, he genuinely looks like he's really playing for the team.
Yeah,
he doesn't look like he's trying to be selfish, and he's assisting, he's passing well.
Yeah, well, hopefully the pennies drop, mate, because in the long run he has to do that. He has to understand that he's part of a team, and it is a team game. It's not all about yourself, and maybe he was a little bit immature at times. I don't know. We don't know all the ins and outs of it, but certainly didn't help himself with some of the situations that happened last season. But the thing, I was very impressed with his interview after the game. I thought he was quite humble about it. He was dignified. He didn't big himself up too much, and he was asked point blank, should you be in the team come the weekend? And he said, well, you'll have to ask the manager, and I thought that was the right thing.
Yeah.
He's gone on the pitch, the right response. He stuck the ball in 2 good finishes.
Yeah.
And we started very poorly, don't forget. We were behind, and they really fancied their chances, I think, once they got that early goal. And they thought they were going to get the better of us, So he was crucial to that victory, and he was, in my opinion, well deserved his place. Mitro had to come back in, but
100%, yeah.
I think we're all hoping that Scott would accommodate the two of them, which he did. And
I think that was the big thing: is how can you play them together when, like you said, Kamara, from what we've seen from him so far, has always been, it looks very focused on just being a striker.
Yeah.
But now having him,
he can play the wide role.
The wide role, and he just seems to have been really pushing himself, and I think he got another assist.
Yeah, I thought it was terrific.
He's just been good, and then he came off obviously against Derby. And one thing I noticed, where I said is he was almost in tears coming off, and I thought that passion. That's exactly what you want to see. He was in pieces, and I think a lot of people are genuinely concerned for him to be all right, because it did change the game when he came off as well.
For me, he does the hard things really good, like the ball's at his neck, he'll bring it down, he'll take a touch, he'll flick it. When he doesn't have to think, I think he's really, really good. It's when he has time on the ball and he can get a little bit complacent, like the Derby game, he was energetic, he was showing his physique, he was powerful, but then when he had time on the ball with little sideways passes that would get intercepted, but you can take that because his reaction is then to win the ball back. So in this league, you can't afford to carry any players unless you've got the top player in the league, which, I think we have actually in Mitrovic, but obviously you likes of Dimitar Berbatov and those players you work around. But in this league, I think you just need all 11 players working on the same page. And he emphasises that his work rate, it feeds off the other players. They see him shutting someone down, they see him winning the tackle. And he's a striker. And he brings that. He's that kind of player that he can lift everyone up by 5 or 10%. And like I say, it seems that the players are behind him as well, because they all seem to go to him and keep encouraging him. Because you're going to make mistakes. You're going to give the ball away. It's about how you react, and I think his reaction has been great.
It's been brilliant, and also credit to Scott Parker as well, because he's been saying all season about all players going to be getting their chance on the pitch, and this just sort of goes to show. Kamara had his chance, he's taken it, and now it looks like, as maybe for the next few games, he's going to be
back in the fold,
going to be back in the fold, back and starting. So credit to Scott Parker there. Also, it's worth talking about Bobby Decordova-Reid. This is our final big talking point of the last couple of weeks. He's off the mark. He's been given a lot of time and support, and often if you've got a striker in the team who's not firing, he would have been sort of long dropped or sitting on the bench. But he's been given a lot of time, and it's because he's been playing so well. He might not be scoring, but he's been playing so well. Yeah,
he's a terrific little player, Bobby, and we all knew it as one of those things that becomes, the longer it goes on, obviously the more of a talking point it becomes. And he's a player who's consistently scored goals at this level, and that's why it became a talking point, but it was going to come. There's no problem with that, and it's not as if he's been missing open goals and hiding or not. So again, he hasn't been playing week in and week out, Bobby, either. But when he has played, his contribution's always been
fantastic,
right there. Yeah, he's a terrific little player, and he'll score plenty more goals. Don't worry about that. And it was a good finish as well. It's a good ball in, as Sean said from Abu, but he timed his run in perfect. The goalkeeper a little bit windy maybe for me, but good finish from Bobby, and let's hope that's the first of many.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also he turned the QPR game around as well. When he came on there.
Yeah, originally I was on loan at Bristol City, and he was a centre midfielder.
Okay.
Originally, and I always remember him actually because I was in training. Obviously, I was injured at the time, trying to play for England, and technically he was good. He understood the game. He worked hard, and obviously he's gone on since to have this knack of scoring goals, and obviously that's why it's pushed him further up top. So it was always a case of when he was going to get it and how he was going to get it. It wasn't going to be the 35-yarder screamer. And like you say, I was the same with that goalkeeper. I thought, what was he doing? But he was in the right place at the right time, and I think just hopefully he can kick on now, and he'll probably be thinking in his head, I want to get at least 10 goals now before the end of the season.
Yeah.
And if he does get that 10 goals and everyone else pitches in, then hopefully we'll be there or thereabouts.
It'll be very big.
Which I expect. I think we should be.
Yeah.
So there are big talking points. Moving on from that, talk about the win against Derby. Because oddly, despite having such a strong team and players like Mitrovic, we seem to have struggled with the shots on target. It seems to be our stats don't always go in our favour, if you know what I mean. I think this seemed to be the first game when you looked at it and you're going, okay, look, we've had 16 shots, 7 on target, scored 3 of them. And it seems to, for me, it almost seemed to be the moment we really clicked. I don't know how you felt about that.
And probably carried that on down at Swansea as well, Ivan, to a certain extent, because I didn't see the stats, but we didn't have an awful lot of shots, but at half-time we were 2 goals up. But against Derby, I mean, I thought they were disappointing. To be honest, I expected.
But they've been playing. I mean, not so much their away record, but a home record. They've been brilliant. This
year. They've been very good at home. They've got a decent squad of players, and I expected a little bit more of them, to be honest. But they had a decent chance early on for Tom Lawrence, where he sort of completely miskicked it, thankfully. And it could have been a very different game, I suppose, if that goes in after 10 minutes or whatever it was. But I thought we bossed the game, as you say. It wasn't. Total domination by any means, but we were a better side, and we took our chances and thoroughly deserved the win. But I think they will be disappointed with the way they played, to be honest. Yeah.
Also worth mentioning, Derby managed no shots on target. Is that Derby, or is that our defence really stepping up there, or a bit of both? I mean, I think it was a very good defensive display. I mean, I think they had one chance early on. They should have done a lot better and skied it over, but. Is that credit to our defence, do you think?
I just think some teams they struggle to work us out at the beginning, which I find very strange. We're going to keep the ball at the back, we're going to pass it about, and they get caught and they don't really press us high enough or quick enough. In the first half, Tim Ream, Joe Bryan, Mawson, they had so much time on the ball. Derby didn't put in the time. That's great for us. We keep the ball. To be fair, the first 10 minutes of the Derby game, I thought we was quite sloppy in possession. Right. But then once we scored the goal, I thought we dominated it. Yeah. But then the second half, you see they've probably gone in. The managers had a right go at them. No one's got close to us. They haven't closed us down. They haven't had a foul. No one's kicked it. Apart from the kick on Mitrovic, which was a bit naughty down his Achilles. They come out and they pressed us really high. And the first 5 or 10 minutes of the second half, they kind of won a few of the balls just in our half, and they could have gone. If they had a bit more quality up front, they could have gone on and maybe caused a few more problems. So for me, that then tells us how can we then combat that, because teams are going to try and start on the front foot. How can we then beat the press? So then obviously we play it around the back. Then we've got the outlet to Mitrovic. Can we get it into his chest, and then can we feed off him? I think if we can work that out a lot quicker, then I think we'll beat teams a lot easier and see off the game a lot more. Yeah. 100%.
And then on from that to Swansea away, a lot of people seeing this as another very, very big test. A team that's going to be, I think, right up there towards the end of the season. An away win. Rodak again with a really impressive performance. Yeah,
he did very, very well. Yeah, he's clearly number one choice now. There's no doubt about that. And I'm a big fan of Marcus's. And I still feel he's been a little bit unlucky to lose his place. But Merritt's come in and and he's grasped the opportunity.
Yeah.
And he has been, he's made a couple of mistakes here and there, but he's obviously a character. He's confident. He's a great shot stopper. I think he's a good. He's very decisive, and he's not scared to give the defenders a bit of stick as well. And I
Which
think
is what I think you want. You want a pretty verbal keeper.
Yeah, for a young keeper, he's done very, very well, and he has, as you say, in that run of games there, in all of them really, he's made 2 or 3
game-changing saves.
Yeah, really good saves. Yeah, long may it continue. As I say, it's if we got Marcus as a backup for me, then that's a decent situation.
Yeah.
But for Marek so far, he's been a real success, and good luck to the kid. Yeah.
And again, with the Swansea game, Mitro and Kamara playing really well together. They look like they could actually build a pretty fantastic partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't play 2 up top though. It is hard to form those relationships over the pitch.
Yeah.
But you can see that obviously it's all about I don't want to keep going back to when I played, but there was always for me I had Lee Clark in front of me, bang, and give it to him. Stephen and Goldbeck, bang, give it to him. Rufus had either Lewis Barmore or Fernando, bang, give it, and obviously Barry and Luis Haar up front. It was always those little partnerships. So if they can get that, great. Obviously, I think Joe O'Brien and Carvalho have got that little bit of a partnership. See, Riemann Mawson now have got that little bit of a relationship. Kearney and Johansson, I think, work really, really well.
Yeah, looking good.
They look really, really well. So I think if Abu can, keep focused mentally, keep fit, he can then, join that kind of partnership with Mitro, obviously, and you've got Bobby coming in who's got a good understanding of the game as well. So everything's boding great, I think, for the team at the minute. And the fact that we're not winning games like annihilating teams 5-6-0 is better because teams that we're digging in. I think I heard Scotty say he was more impressed with the last 20 minutes because we shut up shop.
So the mentality of the team as well.
And that's what you have to do. You can't always steamroll the teams in this league. You have to, especially away from home, you have to dig in, and it just shows the character of the lads, especially after the dismal game at Hull. I don't want to keep going back to that, but sometimes that loss could be the key to the platform going forward.
Yeah.
And the other thing with Abu, Ivan, that is worth pointing out, he went off injured, as you say, in the Derby game, and it was a very, very late decision whether he was going to be fit or not down at Swansea, and he put a real shift in again. The kid.
Yeah.
He got badly caught actually late on with a nasty challenge, and was replaced ultimately with it. But he obviously was desperate to play. And I agree with Sean. I don't think they're necessarily ever going to be a front two as such. But the fact that Abu can replace Mitro, if and when necessary, but he can also fill one of those wide roles in a 3-man. Then, as I say, his stock has really risen, and where it looks as if he had no future at the club at all, he could be a key player.
An important part of the team.
Mitro as well. I know. So I see him coming and scoring 2 goals while Mitro's out. Mitro's probably thinking, "Hold on a minute, I'm the main guy here." Yeah, it helps.
Yeah,
bit of friendly competition.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not sure about friendly. I think you need that competition. You want to take if I'm a sub, if I'm on a sub or I'm not playing, I want to rip that shirt off your back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do I'm going to do whatever it takes to work hard to get back in that side. And once I get in that team, I want to keep the shirt. Yeah. And I think Scott is the type of manager that will see that.
Yeah.
And if you do that, he will allow you then to keep the shirt. And I think that's a good sign. But obviously, Scott is learning. He's a young manager in and out, but he's been in the game long enough to see when someone's desperate to play and when someone's not really half. And I don't think we've got any of those in the squad, to be fair. Everyone seems to come in and want to fight and want to do well. So long may that continue as well, the kind of the eagerness to get the shirt and keep it.
Yeah. It's maybe a little bit of a test here for Knockhart and see how he bounces.
Well, the whole squad, but I mean, it was noticeable, and I said in the commentary at Swansea, we brought on Kevin McDonald, I think Cyrus Christie, and Knockhart as second half subs, and that's when you've got 2 or 3 first team players out injured as well, So I think the fact that you can bring on those sort of players, I think any other team in the Championship would be delighted. I mean, you look at how much game time Kevin's getting. A couple of seasons ago, he's one of the best players in the Championship.
The experience he's got in and around the dressing room as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then hopefully with that experience, then you want the younger ones, your O'Reilly's coming through, obviously Stephen Sessignon. There's a few in the under 23s that want to try and get on the bench.
Yeah.
They want to be a
Chomping
part.
at the bit, proper,
They want to be a part of a team that hopefully will be there or thereabouts at the end of the season and become part of the history of the club.
Yeah. Absolutely. 3 games in 8 days as well. Obviously, all wins. They say games come thick and fast. But how is that actually for a player? Sean, you would have had moments like that where you're playing that many games in that many days. What's it do to your body?
Do you know what? I preferred it. I think a lot of players preferred it because you train less. You're just playing games. It's all about recovery.
Yeah.
So, especially in this weather, you don't really want to be out on the training pitch, freezing.
You're
cold.
wrapped up warm.
Yeah, wrapped up. But yeah, games are what it's all about. Obviously, when we were in the Championship, we were Tigana and his guy Roger Propus, fitness coach. They were very, very high on stretching and recovery, and we'd done a lot of that, and it was quite boring, to be fair. But we were up and ready to go.
Right.
And we didn't have too many changes in the team that year as well. So it's quite credit to the staff and the nutrition and the when to rest and when to train. So I preferred it when it was games thick and fast because you could just concentrate on the game. When you got play Saturday and then you got the whole week and then play Saturday, Tuesday was better for me personally. Yeah, I preferred it.
And also when you're staying over at places like Swansea when you're having to travel, what's it actually like? So you stay in a hotel.
Yeah. See, I know what's coming now. I know what's coming.
Yes. So you stay in, you say staying in, say, Swansea the night before. Yeah. What's that like? Do you get to, ever get up to much? Are you in bed by 9? Hot chocolate?
One of the worst ones, I reckon. I think we were playing Stoke away. I think it was New Year's Day. I think it could have been New Year's Day. Not Stoke away. Stockport.
Yeah,
Stockport away.
Yeah,
and I'm rooming with Barry Howes, and it's New Year's Eve. We're thinking, you're on your phone. You got all your mates ringing you up. What are you doing? I've got to go in tomorrow. I can't really do much. Yeah. So that was probably one of the worst ones because with me and Barry, it was like literally the first one to get to sleeps because the other one snores. So.
Okay, he was your roommate then?
Yeah, he was my roommate. He even stutters in his sleep.
Does he really?
Yeah, yeah. But that was probably those ones are hard to take.
Sure.
They're hard to take. The best one I think was when we actually went to Huddersfield and we won. We clinched promotion, and then we had how many days was it before we played? Blackburn. Sorry, we played Blackburn, and we kind of clinch it.
But it was coming. Yeah.
We knew it was coming. We got the result after the Blackburn story is well highlighted. But we had a few days before we played Huddersfield, so I think Bolton were playing just after that. I think on the Monday night, and Tigana literally said, "Who wants to go to the game? He'll get a coach, and we'll put everyone and go to the game." So obviously, 10 of us, whatever it was, we went to the game, and they actually put us in a box. We were like, "Oh wow, we're in a box!" So. Literally at Bolton, the screen's there, and you can see everyone. And me and Barry is sitting in the box thinking, they wouldn't tell us, we just thought we'd have a drink, a little bit of celebration, the game. To be fair, I don't think we knew we weren't playing. I think he named the side, so we'll have a drink. Couldn't get a drink, so we nipped out the stadium and went to the pub across the road. Say no more. We're sitting in the pub, but the game's on the TV in the pub, so hello.
Perfect,
so if we get quizzed.
You know what's happened.
We know what's happened.
What can go wrong?
But the problem was, the cameras have flashed on the box, so they've gone on the box, and you can see all the players sitting there in the box. And we didn't think nothing of it because we've had 4 or 5 brandy and cokes now, so
you're not too worried about it.
Yeah. So then we get on the coach on the way back. The lads are like, "You got a nightmare." We're all right. We're fine. We get back to the Tigana's waiting in the hotel
with his toothpick.
Right. Desperately trying to find me and Barry. He's like, "I watched the game on the TV. I didn't see your faces." Trying to hold back the breath. I must have been in the toilet or something. He was he just started laughing to it. His famous laugh, but he knew. To be fair, he knew. But that was a good trip all round. To be fair, because we won against Huddersfield anyway.
Doesn't matter then, does it?
The worst thing is, I think someone got injured and had to come on for the last 10 or 15 minutes or something like that. I wasn't feeling too great. I don't advise it. It's not professional. Don't advise it. You can't get away. I wouldn't do that nowadays.
Yeah. Any budding players, coming up, don't copy him.
Exactly. No, that was a good trip.
Appreciate your honesty. Your honesty.
I'll stitch Barry Howes right up.
You have there, yeah.
Sorry, Baz.
All right, looking on to the next 4 fixtures now. This is obviously going to be a massive test. And it feels even bigger now since the weekend's results. So we've got Bristol City, Preston, Brentford and Leeds. We'll start with Bristol City, won 5-2 on the weekend to Huddersfield. I mean, that was already going to be a tough test, but I mean, what's happened there?
A good side.
They are a good side,
yeah.
but I don't think I was expecting. I know Huddersfield aren't, they haven't been great this season, but still.
Yeah, but it can happen in this division. I think if either side, on another day, the result could have gone the other way. But when a team really hits form, and a good side, as you say, Lee Johnson's done a good job. We owe him one because I think the last few years they've come here and give us a couple of doings. Actually, we haven't.
No.
We haven't got a great record against them.
Tammy Abraham's here, I think, tore us apart.
Yeah, but they are a good side, and he loses players most years, and he still keeps them there or thereabouts. They're always challenging for the playoffs, play decent football, and they will take you apart. If we're not bang on it. So. As you say, they're all difficult games there. Preston away, Brentford at the moment, much as I hate to say it, looked very, very impressive.
I mean, again, it's worth mentioning that yesterday, on Saturday, 7-0 against Luton.
Yeah.
7-0.
I mean, at the moment, going forward, they look, and again, like Bristol City, more so even, they lose 2 or 3 of their top players every season, Brentford, and they still seem to keep improving. And I thought when this current coach went in there, I wasn't so sure. I thought maybe they'd hit the buffers a little bit and they were going to struggle, but they seem to be getting stronger, and that's going to be a really difficult game for sure. It'd be a great one to win.
What does that do to a player's mentality knowing they're coming up against that? Did you ever have it where you knew you were facing a team that absolutely smashed the team the week before? You knew they'd found their feet?
Normally you'd go through the video and you'd watch what they did well,
But would it affect you mentally?
No, not so much.
A couple of brandy and cokes and you're fine,
No. Not so much, to be fair. I think when you look at Luton, they're I watched them and I think they've been. Listen, I love what they've done, but I think they were the poorest side I've seen.
They were shocking.
They were
defensively.
They were bad.
Desperate.
But like Jim said, any given day, anyone can beat anyone. Like Bristol City were on a horrific run before they smashed Huddersfield 5-2. You'd rather play someone actually. I know it does it that have won 4-0 the week before than lost 4-0. Because if they've lost 4-0, they've had a horrendous week in training and they need a reaction.
Sure.
So, they're all tough games. Obviously, Bristol City are trying to fight there, be there or thereabouts. Brentford's always going to be a tough one, especially for Jim, all these Brentford mates.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough, but like I say,
Leeds as well.
We've got the momentum. Momentum in this division is key. Especially over the Christmas period. Once Christmas is out the way, touch wood, no injuries, no silly suspensions or red cards. If you can keep the squad together and you can go on a run, 5, 6, 7. You'd take going on 5, 6, 7 win and lose one, and then going on another 5, 6 win. I think the draws that kill you. If you keep drawing and dropping points.
Yeah, of course.
I know people say, you'd rather take a point than lose, but if you worked it out, if you won 5 in a row, lost one, and then won 5 in a row, instead of like drawing 4 or 5 here, losing one, winning one.
Sure. Yeah. No.
I think you can always bounce back in this because there's no time to feel sorry for yourself. Especially over the Christmas period, you play game after game after game. I think that's what players like. It's thick and fast. If you lose, come on, we go again. It's not the end of the world. It's just if you have a dodgy period over Christmas, it can set you back a while. Do you know what I mean? It could go either way.
I mean, so it is a massive test for us. This is, this really could be a big turning point in our season.
Could be pivotal. I mean, because they're all 4 of those are probably in the top 8 or 9 as we speak. But I mean, we had a similar run to that last time in the Championship, didn't we? Where I think we played 6 of the top 7 or something, more or less in a row.
Yeah.
And everyone was saying, it was going to be very difficult to take points, and I think we won them all. Bar Bristol City, funny enough, I think we might have drawn with Bristol City. But if we do something similar to that, I mean, I think if we take more than 6 points, really, if we take 7, 8, 9 points out of those 4 games, we're laughing. I think we're set up then. But I think even if we took 6 points from those 4 games, we'd stay in the top 6, probably going in towards Christmas. And I think as long as we are in the top 6, I think we'll be stronger in the new year. And I think the 2 above us, I don't think are totally outstanding. They're not like Wolves when Wolves were running away with it. One or the other at least is going to hit a bad patch at some point, possibly even both of them. But if we can stay as close as we can, and of course the great thing about those 4 games there is you'll be taking points off teams in and around you, so it's a double whammy. Yeah. And I think, as I say, if we could come out with 7 or 8 points from those 4 games,
it'd be a massive result.
Yeah, we'd be really set up nicely.
So I think we're good. I personally think we're good enough to go on and win this league.
Yeah.
With the squad we've got, I said it to a few people. I said, I think the team we've got now is better than the team we had in the Premiership.
Yeah.
I feel, and I get the sense that I think the players want that. They don't want to go through the playoffs again. I think the fans don't want to go through the playoffs again.
Yeah.
Listen, we want to win. You know, we want to be
Sure.
up there and thereabouts. But if they can win the Championship, for the players, do you know what I mean? For me, looking back on my whole career, winning that Championship is just it puts you in the history books of the club. So that's got to be the aspiration for the players. Can we win it? Not come second. Can we win it? Because if you think can we win it, and you come second, you're still promoted anyway without going through the playoffs. So I think Scotty will build that mentality around the club. I think obviously the odd blip now and again, which is going to happen. It's a long season.
So
it's a championship, but I do believe we have the quality to be the best team in the league.
Yeah,
100%.
it does feel like something's changed as well. I don't want to jinx it, and I was scared to even bring it up, but it felt like there was a moment with our last promotion season with Slav. Where it just changed. There was a moment where you just felt, okay, this looks different. This feels different now. These players are, you know, I mean, there was a start of the season maybe. There was a little bit with Scott where you felt like we were just passing side to side. That's he's done a great job with this team, but in the last few games, we look dangerous. You know, our attacks look dangerous. There seems to be more purpose, and it feels like that moment that you wait for. That it's just clicked. But I don't want to jinx it. Did you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. And obviously putting the 4 wins together has given everyone confidence. And you want that belief, as Sean says, you don't want them to be shy about it. At the end of the day, we've got a squad of players capable of competing with anyone in this division. There's no one to be frightened of. And if you've got that belief, you're on a winning run and you feel you can do it, then, you know, that's half the battle.
Yeah.
The players will say all the right things. The manager will say all the right things next game. It's all about the next game.
Yeah.
And it is all about the next game, but they've got to want to aspire to win the league. I think we're good enough to win this league.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting carried away with 1-4 games. I think the fact that we never normally really kick on till January, is it? I think 12, 15 points better off than we were last time we was in the Championship.
Yeah.
You know, barring injuries, if we can add a few, even great.
Yeah, we'll be stronger, I think. We'll be stronger second half. Yeah, I think so.
I think if we can add a few as well.
Yeah.
January, definitely.
Well, there we go.
I'm
too scared to say anything. Don't like jinxing things. We just touched really quickly on Brentford, because I know you hate Brentford, and just tell us quickly why all your mates are Brentford, aren't they? Pretty much.
Not mates, but neighbours.
Not mates.
I live in Brentford. I haven't got a single mate who's a Brentford fan, but
so you don't actually like your neighbours.
Not really, no.
So they're not watching this.
I mean, the thing is, for
the Brentford fans, no.
For the first sort of 20 years or so, you know, they didn't really speak to them. You know, they didn't have a lot to say, but they've become the noisy neighbours, if you like. I mean, there's in recent seasons, or certainly in the last 10, 15 years.
Well, we're their cup final. We're their everything.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
We're the biggest club.
And I have to say, I didn't dislike them at all. I mean, growing up, they weren't on my radar at all, Brentford. You know, it was QPR and the other mob, and I'm not too bothered about QPR, really. It's mostly the other lot.
Well, it's fine because we beat QPR an awful lot, so it's fine. We can live with that. But
yeah, and I've always
Brentford's a bit hit and miss at the moment. Isn't it?
Yeah, and I didn't realise how much they hated us, to be honest. And then once, and when you live in amongst them and you're listening to it, you know, you're in the supermarket, you're in the barbers, you're in the pub, and
is it really? Right in the heart. We're talking Brentford heartland.
Yeah,
and do you walk around with your Fulham top?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, you know, and
face them off. It's like Spartan, isn't it? Like 300, I can imagine.
Yeah, and they're horrible, and it will be. You know, it doesn't bear thinking about if we get beat there. You know, and funny enough, we do regularly let ourselves down.
It's been hit and miss. We've had our moments where we've you know, smashed into bits, but yeah, they've had some good results. But they've got this song at the moment, the Bees Up, Fulham Down, Bees Up, Fulham Down. Yeah,
which I can kind of see that you know, there's some comedy value there. I accept.
Like I said, but
it didn't happen, did it? You know, so
no,
and it never will. But I think, as I say, I've got to be honest and say, watching them this season, you know, the Highlands, they are a good side and they're playing some good football. And they're going to take some beating on their own ground because it's always a bit hostile there as well. We've got to be ready for that. We've got to be prepared for it. And hopefully we'll be going into it with a couple of good results prior to that. But it's become a big game, just simply, well, certainly obviously from my part, if you live in that neck of the woods.
You want it,
thing,
don't you?
Yeah.
Just look after yourself. Don't go like, strutting around with your Fulham shirt on if we win. Next thing we know, you.
Well, I'll have Jamie with me. Jamie look out.
Oh, Jamie's fine. He's got your back.
The days of playing them in a pre-season friendly to help them out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's all gone.
They've come up. Listen, they've got some good players.
Yeah,
I've seen them. I think I watched them against home to Bristol City, and they got some good players. Is it Berahino?
Yeah.
He's a good player. Is it Watkins? He's not bad. They play a certain style, and especially Jim's right. It's a hostile place to go, especially when they're in a derby. So the players are going to have to be ready for that. They're going to know that. Scotty's going to know that. He's probably been there and played there and experienced that. So those sort of games, you have to dig in first 20 minutes, or there's going to be a spell where they're going to have a 20-15 minute spell, and you're going to have to survive that, and then hopefully the skill or the quality comes out.
Yeah. We'll see how we get on. I'm actually going to be there, so if you need, I can come
you can
watch me
stand
around looking threatening. Let's touch on a little bit with you, Jim, now about how, because a lot of people won't know this, how you actually started at the club, because you've been here for a long time. I think I remember you telling me when you first started, it was people used to have to phone in. Is that right?
Yeah. It was club call. Yeah, it was before the internet was invented, I think.
Really?
Yeah, pretty much.
Before the internet. Yeah. So people used to literally dial in and they could hear your commentary that way, is that right?
Yeah, initially it was on the phone, it was just updates. So, I'd be sitting in the press box here with the phone. I'd dial into a computer of some description. I had a code to dial in, record the update, if 5 minutes gone, Fulham would just take the lead, a corner from the right-hand side, blah, blah, blah. Press a few buttons, that then saved it, and then everyone dialed in on a premium rate phone number, paying silly money to listen to it.
What year was that, Jim?
Yeah, it was a while ago. And then we actually started, before the internet came, we got involved with that, we started doing full live match commentary. On a premium rate phone line, which was I thought was almost distasteful, because it was costing people, particularly
like a quid a minute, and they're listening
whatever
to
it was,
90
60p a minute, But I mean, obviously they didn't listen to 90 minutes, but they were certainly, and the idea was don't keep giving the score out, Jim, because we want them to stay on the line, and I wasn't that happy about that. It was all getting.
I wonder if this will stay in the edit. I wonder if they'll say, we can't reveal. This was all the people that worked.
Totally different regime.
All gone
a long time ago.
It's all gone.
And then thankfully from there, Thorpe, the great man, Paul Thorpe, when he set up the original Fulham website, and he was a genius, Thorpe, and he asked me to do it on there because I'd fallen out by then. I'd gone and I wasn't doing it for a couple of seasons, so I was just back being a fan. And Thorpe said, we're going to do it on the internet. We're going to do live commentaries, and I want you to do them. And I had no idea what he was talking about. I said, well, I couldn't turn a computer on, Paul. And he said, no, you've got nothing to worry about. I'll be sat next to you, and then you just carry on the way you were. And it wasn't great to start with, funny enough, because we used to literally plug headsets into a little laptop.
Right.
And it wasn't good enough. It used to buffer an awful lot, and people still complain now, but it used to keep dropping out and stuff like that. It was a bit volatile.
Was that proper dial-up period? Are we talking?
Yeah. And it literally, we had all sorts of problems. People, once a guy spilled a whole cup of coffee all over the keyboard, and another day I dropped the thing down the stairs at Loftus Road and stuff like that. But then once we got the ISDN box and we started doing it properly, if you like, then it's been really good. But it was Paul Thorpe, that got me. And prior to that, I used to do local press reports. I worked.
And that's how you got in. Doing the commentary.
Yeah, largely. That's how I would have been known, I suppose, initially. And then it was the commercial manager at the time asked me if I wanted to do. I started covering reserve games. Yeah. Because I went to reserve games anyway. I used to do Wednesday afternoon and bunk off work, and I started doing those and moved on from there. Yeah, so it's been.
Fantastic. How many years is it?
Well, it's over 20, and it was Mickey Adams was in charge, I think, when I first started on the phone.
Right.
Right.
When I first started coming, it was Mickey Adams.
Yeah,
Adams family.
The press reports go back probably to the early 80s.
Right.
I suppose I was doing press reports because nobody wanted to watch Fulham. I wasn't a journalist, as I'm sure you can tell. But I worked for a number of newspaper groups, and they would send someone along, and nobody particularly wanted to watch Fulham. So at one point, just about every newspaper group in West London, I was doing the Fulham reports under different names.
Proper moonlighting.
Yeah, and that was lovely. From my point, it was a great touch. But that goes back probably, I would say, till the early 80s.
Wow, that's incredible. Really has all been Fulham. So, do you remember your very first game then?
As a commentator or as a fan?
Let's go as a fan, and then I want to know as a commentator.
Yeah, I'm never 100% sure. It was very close to my 5th birthday when my dad brought me down. Obviously on that basis, my brother had already been coming for 3 or 4 years by then. I think it was Leeds. It was here at home, obviously. I think it was a draw against Leeds, but there's always been a little bit of a grey area which game it was. Certainly, that was the closest to my 5th birthday, which was March '64.
Right. Okay.
And I think that was.
I'm sure there's someone, maybe White Noise or someone that tweets that knows everything about Fulham on the internet. You can find out. Around '64.
March the 8th is my birthday, so I think that was the game. But between then and the end of the season, I think we played Tottenham here. We played Man United here. You know, they were really big sides in those days. So it was a good time to start coming. But as I say, I'd be lying if I said I could remember the game because I can't. Obviously.
No, you don't remember too much.
But it was that season, and I would have done.
And what about your first commentary?
Yeah, again, not entirely sure. To be honest. Yeah. I mean, I did the reserve games, the Mickey Adams promotion season. So certainly the following season, I would have started. I think we started. Although I wouldn't swear to it, to be honest. Whether we might have started mid-season. So again, I couldn't say for sure, but.
Mickey Adams used to play in the reserve games with the young
ones.
He
did.
Michael Myson, John Hampshire.
Paul
Brooker.
I used to like it 2:00 on a Wednesday. The Ovenden paper combination or something like Neville Ovenden or something like that, and it was nice actually to get away on a Wednesday afternoon and watch the games. So then they started asking me to just do the reports while I was there. But as I say, I can't actually remember the very first commentary.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
This is incredible, man. It's so good. What's been your favourite moment as well, commentator? Because you've done so many seasons and so many insane moments. You would have seen us, do a number of wonderful things. For you, what has been like? There's been a moment you've gone, pinch me. This is incredible.
It's that man there, obviously up at Ewood Park. It's and the sad thing is that nowadays. And you worry about it, obviously, in case you say anything stupid or something you shouldn't say. But everything now is digital and everything's recorded and everything's there. Sadly, that commentary disappeared into the ether, and I would have liked to have heard it because it was, so many people listening told me, and I lost the plot completely.
Sorry, what was it? This was when we got promotion.
When Shawnee whacked the
was that one?
The late goal in up at Ewood Park, and the whole build up to the game with Souness,
He's definitely missing. There's no way we can find.
No, it's disappeared, mate. And I actually paraded up and down when the final whistle went. It was I just stayed in the press box for about 20 minutes rambling.
Doesn't sound like you, mate. If I'm honest.
I named every Fulham player that I'd ever fallen in love with. I named every member of my family. And it was just. I mean, it was a magic moment. But the whole build up to that game, it was. Yeah. And then when he's run onto it, and it just. And you're doing it with him, It's,
you almost look like you're welling up.
Yeah, it's a great moment because it's just ricocheted into Sean's Park, and that could have gone anywhere. But
and you see me play a few times. So
we could have gone anywhere.
I got a nosebleed getting that far forward.
Really?
But because that must have been a horrible game to commentate because obviously I've done a bit of commentating with you, but we started poorly, we conceded, the man sent off, we get a lucky goal.
Yeah, it was a horrible game.
They could have given a foul against me for the first goal. I've watched it back. I literally leaned into Brad Friedel.
Yeah, that's right.
But the defenders got in the way as well. So and then he's just literally dropped it to them.
Yeah, he did, but he could easily. Normally, the goalie would get that, wouldn't he?
100%.
But when that one flew in, that was probably the greatest moment.
Oh, I thought he was going to say Kenny then. Player phone up.
Just quickly, I want to get your all-time 11 because you've been here for such a long time at the club. You've seen so many incredible players come and go. So I want a goalkeeper from you, your all-time, if you're picking your all-time.
Well, it's always difficult because, you'll have 6 or 7 that you will never, you'd always put in. Others, sometimes you might change your mind. And it's difficult, do you go with your favourite or the best? Goalkeeper, I would go with Jerry Payton as a favourite. I guess Tony Macedo, obviously people in my age group would probably go with, or could well go with Tony. Van der Sar obviously would be considered probably the most distinguished goalkeeper. Yeah. And it was incredible that we got him. Schwarzer was excellent throughout the Premier League. But my favourite, and he was a very, very good goalkeeper, was Jerry Payton,
Okay. Defenders, 4 of them. What are you going with?
Well, I'd have to go 5, Ivan, if it's all right, because I'm going
to let you have a 5 at the back if you want.
Yeah, when I started watching football, we had 2 full-backs and you had 3 half-backs, which you've probably never heard of a half-back, but in my day, that's what we had, and I could pick my team like that. And again...
I'm going to let you have 4, so does that mean we're missing a midfielder or a striker?
Well, I got... Well, I started watching football, we had 2 full-backs and you had 3 half-backs, which you've probably never heard of a half-back, but in my day, that's what we had, and I could pick my team like that. And again, I'm going to let you have 4, so does that mean we're missing a midfielder or a striker?
Well,
I've got 2 lots of 5. Well, it's 2.
All right, 2 lots of 5 and 1.
It's 2, 3, 5.
2, 3. Okay, all right. Okay. Got you.
Yeah.
Hit me with it.
Well, again, sacrilege really, I guess, for Fulham not to go with George Cohen. And I think most people who wouldn't go with George Cohen would probably go with Paulie Parker. But I love Steve Finnan. I absolutely love Steve Finnan.
Yeah.
I thought, he was brilliant, but he was a model pro. He was just a really nice kid. He was the sort of lad you thought, you could have him for a mate. Humble, modest, unassuming, very quiet. But I thought he was superb, Stevie, and he never really put the foot wrong.
No.
So he might not be his overall career. It's hard, obviously, to go against George. But I would go with Steve Finnan. At left back, it's always been a bit of a difficult area. Jimmy Langley for me, but I didn't see enough of Jimmy Langley. I think my dad would say Jimmy Langley.
Yeah.
Rufus would get a mention, and Kevin Locke, but I'll go with Strongy, I think. Because
who paid you to say
that? I was about to say, you have to say that, don't you?
Well, it'd be difficult not to, but I think he was a much better footballer than people give him credit for, Strongy. He was a great character, obviously, and he's inbuilt in he's part of the fabric of the club. But he's a lovely fella, and I think he was a terrific player. I mean, I started out as a kid as a right winger, and I know he did, and you think, to then suddenly become a left back and be remotely comfortable, when you've been a right winger. And he very rarely got done, Strongy. He was a better fullback than people give him credit for. Great personality, great character. So
he's in the team.
I'll go with Les there.
So we need 2 more, do we?
No, we got 3. We got half-backs.
Okay, we're in the half-backs here. Half-back.
So
okay, here we go.
Right half, and I would say captain, Alan Mullery.
Okay.
Just an absolute fantastic. Again, he was gone very quickly. In my day, his first spell at the club, and I'll never forget my dad. He just could not believe that we let him go, and off he went to Tottenham. But fantastic for them, great in World Cups. He came back and he was sensational for us. Won Player of the Year when we got to the Cup final in '75. Great captain, real character, he just was a lion of a man, Mullery, and he was a terrific footballer, great footballer. So you couldn't look past him. I go with Breda, I think, as centre half. Because he's played top level, top division for Fulham, and again, rarely had a bad game. Occasionally got done here and there, but he was an excellent footballer, lovely bloke. You'd like to go with Aaron Hughes alongside him, obviously, because they were very, very much a double act. But I've got to go with Gailey. I've got to put Gailey in there. Bobby Moore, obviously, if we're talking about, at the peak of his game, was Gailey a better footballer than Bobby Moore? No, he probably wasn't. But Bobby Moore, for me, obviously, wasn't at his peak when he came to Fulham. He was still outstanding, and it was still a real honour to watch him play for Fulham. But Gailey, I thought, was terrific. He was another one. He had 6 or 7 seasons, came into the side as a youngster. Again, barely ever had a bad game, Gailey. So you've got Mullery, Hangle and the Gale. Then you've got 5 up front.
5 up front. Here we are.
Wingers.
You write them in just in case.
Listen,
You're right. Okay,
fine,
come on.
Oh, assistant manager.
You've already made him cry. One of your moments.
He's done the magic moment.
He's done the moment. Here with it. You're 5 up front.
Well, it'd be very, very. I think anyone who knows me or knows the period of when I started coming, as I say, mid-60s, and then a couple of years later, when you're a bit more in tune with it, Conway and Barrett were just legends, right and left wing. But having said that, Dad would never give me, I don't think, if I didn't put Graham Leggett in. Again, I didn't see enough of. I saw Graham Leggett play, but didn't see enough of him. But averaged a goal every other game for Fulham, I think, and as a winger. But he was just terrific, Scottish international, wonderful player. So he starts on the right. The front 2, it's always going to be difficult. You could go older people than me. We'd be looking at Bedford Jezzard, I suppose, people like that. I would go with Alan Clark because he was one of the first players I just really idolised, and again, wasn't here nearly long enough. But I remember the day he was sold to Leicester, and I was away with a school at the time, and I was absolutely heartbroken. I just couldn't believe it could happen. And he was brilliant, Clark. I think he played round about 100 games for Fulham. He scored sort of 60 goals or something like that. Wow. Absolutely brilliant, and went on to do it at top level, and a little bit of nastiness there as well. He was tall, skinny, but I loved the way he had his shirt hanging out. It wouldn't be totally out, and it wouldn't be totally in. It was sort of half, so I used to copy that. Clarkey was great. I go with Louis Sahar, I think, up front. I just don't think you could.
Best player I ever played with.
Just sensational. He'd been in England obviously prior to that, Newcastle, but that didn't really work out. But it was his opportunity really to get into English football. Obviously, Tigana knew all about him, and he was just sensational. Absolute mustard. 27 goals I think or something the season we went up. He could score with both feet, score with his head. He was just one of them, unfortunately, I think, because of his physique and his build and that, he used to pick up silly, sort of niggly, muscle-type injuries. And miss lots of games. But Louis, I don't think you could leave out. And then there's two geniuses then. You got Johnny Haynes and Georgie Best. And again, Johnny, I saw 4 or 5 years of Johnny Haynes, maybe didn't see the best of him, but he was undoubtedly a world-class player. I think anyone who saw him would say that. And to have a genuine world-class player only ever played for Fulham, you know, a one-man club, a one-club man, I should say.
Doesn't happen often.
No, and he was top drawer. I mean, he was up there with Bobby Charlton as you know, the greatest English player of that period, sort of thing. And then Bestie, for me, the greatest player there's ever been. You know, an absolute genius. Yeah. Who again wasn't, you know, he wasn't at his best at Fulham, but he played in a Fulham shirt. We had a season of it. We had 42, 43 games or whatever he played over the 2 seasons, and you can't leave him out. So, so it's Leggett, Clark, Saha, Haynes, and Best.
That's incredible. One sub.
Well, I left. I was told I could have 3, but
you can have 3. Three subs.
Conway and Barrett, as I say, I've already mentioned, and it breaks my heart really not to be able to put the pair of them in, because they were such an integral part of what Fulham meant to me as a young fan. And then Shawnee goes in as the third. If it wasn't for
if I weren't here, then it would probably
whoever else would be sitting in that seat.
Simon Davis,
or Stephen.
But no, Shawnee was brilliant, as you say. He had played in every division, came through. We love to see youngsters coming through and doing the business for the club. And again, just a shame really that he didn't stay. You know, I'd love to see Shawnee go all the way, but absolutely brilliant. Yeah, so he's on the bench.
Sweet. And who would manage it?
It was worth bringing a cake to him.
He said, I wonder why he did
that. Every half time when I used to do the commentary, bring him on a bit of cake.
Give him a little back rub, you look stressed.
From the chairman's lounge. He said it worked.
He did, It worked. He did as well. Yeah, he did.
It worked.
Oh, amazing.
Manager's a difficult one. Tigana, I suppose you'd have to say, really.
Yeah.
Cookie, I loved, you know, as a person. Malcolm McDonald, I really enjoyed, because I got involved with the club in those days. You know, I used to go watch training and stuff like that a lot, and had a lot of time for Malcolm. But I think probably Tigana. I mean, Roy, fantastic. It's a difficult one, manager. But
we've had a lot of great managers.
Yeah, but possibly given a talented side like that, to get the most out of them and really produce something special, I'll probably go with Tigana.
What a Christmas party they would have had as well.
Yeah, they would have done. Yeah.
Tigana would have been happy with that.
No, he wouldn't let Bestie to get in there, would he?
No,
all right.
No chance.
That's great. Thank you very much for that. We're gonna end now with a bit of a game. All right. No, listen, you didn't want to do this.
No.
Or you don't even know what we're doing yet, but you didn't want to play a game. So it's not really a game. It's more of a celebration of you. I think you, whether you realise or not, you brought a lot of joy to so many fans, and there's been so many moments, especially, you know, for me when I took, you know, when I took over, it was tough. We weren't winning. You know, it was, and then the season, the promotion season, and some of your commentary. I mean, I literally couldn't wait for the highlights to come out so I could hear your commentary moments. And there is some unbelievable moments. And what I want to do, I want to test your memory. I want to see. We're going to play you 6 moments of your commentary. Do you listen to your commentary back ever?
Yeah, well, sometimes. But not the not
the crazy moments.
No.
It's a shame. It's
a lot of it I've heard. Some of it I've heard.
Well, we're going to start with. So I want to see if you can guess what the game is. And see if you can do the season. Can I say this? The one that we're starting with.
My memory is shocking.
I have heard this about 30, 40 times. I love this moment. It was honestly unbelievable. So here we go. So let's play the first bit of commentary for Jim.
Outside of the penalty area, working his way in. Lovely footwork. Here's Aite. Again, needs a bit of help, but with a man down. Piazon back to Aite. Goes around the keeper. Walks in. 3-1 to Fulham. And it's Floyd Aite again. Absolute magic from Fulham.
My favourite bit is coming, mate.
Come on, Fulham. What a day this has turned into, Jim. Oh. You're lost for words.
What's this? Love it. But you were echoing exactly how everyone else felt. I honestly, here we go. This is great. Number 2.
Mitrovic for look at 2-footed tackle from Alore. John Swift then runs into Oliver Norwood. That's a red card. That's a red card. You don't do that. That's a terrible tackle. It's going to be a red card
Oh. Oh, I don't know who that was. Who was that?
No?
No.
Oh, there was a clue in it, wasn't it?
Yeah,
John Swift.
Oh, right, yeah. He did it, did he?
I can't. It
For
wasn't
Reading.
Swift that was sent off, was it? Was
Yeah.
it Swift that was sent off?
For a terrible tackle, yeah.
Right, there we go, yeah.
So it was at Reading.
It was Reading.
Yeah. I think I do remember it, yeah.
Right, we'll really have that. We'll give a bit of a clue.
Yeah.
From
I've got to help
Jamie.
him out,
So,
yeah.
you do your thing. All right, number 3. Here we go. This is again gold.
Here's Tom Kearney under the left foot, goes for goal. Yes! 1-0. It's 1-0 to Fulham, and that is an absolute quality goal. I'm just swallowing it up. Tom Kearney with a sweep there from the turn into the box.
What have I done there?
Do you remember?
I was swallowing flies or something, was it?
Yeah. The whole game.
It was at Leeds.
It was, mate.
It was at
Leeds
Leeds,
away.
yeah,
And you kept
yeah.
saying the whole game, where are all these bugs coming from?
Oh, they were coming from above us. And I kept swallowing them, yeah. I mean, the whole place was...
Covered in bugs.
Yeah, it was. And they were sort of mutant looking as well. They didn't look right.
The X-Men from
Special
Leeds.
Leeds bugs then. Wow.
Yeah, they
I
were
think
like
every time
interbred
you
bugs.
celebrated or
Yeah, and
swallowed a chunk.
I did swallow one, yeah.
Got some good protein in it.
Hmm.
Okay, this one massively iconic. Let's get number 4.
From the right-hand side, Fulham attacking the Hammersmith end. 65 minutes gone, leading by a goal to 0.
Dennis Sadoy, yeah.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Have you heard any of these before?
I've never heard that, I don't
No.
think. Well, I must have done. I knew it was going to be Dennis's goal.
Yeah,
60
straight away.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You're right, that's the semi-final
Dennis
against
is right.
Derby.
Yeah.
A couple more to end with. Let's go our number 5, please.
Floats it with his left foot, the keeper's coming out. He's filled it, it's on target. And it's in! Dennis Sadoy for Fulham. First league goal of the season. And that is
Remember?
justice.
Yeah, it was at the Hammersmith end,
Yeah.
For Fulham.
and he hooked it in.
Finish now. Sit down. What's he complaining about? Ireland's having a fit. Dennis Sadoy for Fulham. The keeper finally makes a mistake. He was under pressure.
Do you remember the game?
No.
Now I remember this. I think you even said Ivan's having a fit. It was Preston.
Oh, was it?
And they had been time wasting from about the
Yeah,
30th
yeah.
minute in the game.
Yeah.
And I remember a couple of times, right near the end, the ball came off, and the assistant manager, or whatever, he pushed it away and tried to put it behind so they couldn't get hold of it.
So they had
And
it
it was
coming.
relentless. Oh, and you were so angry. And so when he got that 90, it's like the last hit of the game.
Yeah, I remember the goal. I just didn't know who it was against.
Didn't know it was against.
No.
Little old Preston. Okay, and finally, why not? Let's do this. Last one.
15 yards inside the Villa half. Fulham attacking the goal away to our right.
We had to.
22 minutes gone, goalless here at Wembley. Here's Ryan Sessegnon. Lovely footwork from him. Slides in through. There's a chance for Kearney.
He slid it in, yeah. Yeah, that's ridiculous. I think I went dizzy after that.
Really?
Yeah, I do remember getting when you get them grey
I bet
spots.
that wasn't the first
Really?
time you got dizzy that day.
No, I was surprised Shawnee wasn't in some of them actually because we all had some.
It was a tougher season.
Yeah, there was some dire stuff.
Oh, well, we watched them back. I'm surprised that you haven't sent his video in clips to the FA for the referees.
Really?
Because he did used to batter the referee.
Yeah.
There was some poor refereeing.
Oh, shocking. Really shocking. Well, there was one the other night, wasn't it? The corner.
Yeah.
Was it against Derby or QPR? There was one that went out and he gave a corner.
Gave a corner. Yeah, you were
Yeah.
very angry about that. I
I mean,
remember,
you
yeah.
just, you can't help that, can you? But no, they're good. I enjoyed that.
No,
I'm glad you enjoyed it because just
I wasn't
they
sure I was
are
getting
honestly iconic. Everyone loves them. Because I know you're not on Twitter.
No.
I know you don't do any of that. But yeah, there's a lot of love for you and for those moments. And yeah, more of them, please. Keep doing them. But listen, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
Jim, thank you
Yeah,
very much.
no, thank you, mate. Always a
fingers
pleasure.
crossed, catch up with us again, throughout the season.
Yeah,
Fingers
we'll do.
crossed
Yeah, I'd love to,
we're right up in the mix,
Smashing.
at the end of the season. And Sean, an absolute pleasure again.
Always.
Hopefully,
Always.
you'll be joining us again in a couple of weeks for
Hopefully.
our Christmas edition.
Definitely looking forward to the Christmas pies and coffees and stuff like that.
It's going to be if you're listening in the studio.
Crackers, Fulham crackers.
Fulham crackers.
Yeah, definitely
pies.
look forward to getting me Fulham
maybe
key
a
ring.
little mulled wine.
Do you know what? That would be great. I'll even get on a train down here. I won't drive down here if that's
I'm down
promised.
with that. Let's do it.
I've enjoyed it. Hopefully the lads can, make it even better Christmas for us.
Absolutely, fingers crossed. All right, well, there we go. That's your Monday night Fulham fix, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks for your Christmas show. Goodbye.